Welcome to another session of Reflections on Investing by the Cornell Capital Group. After our run through inflation, we're going to take a different path today and talk about something called the law of one price. It's a very old economic law, one of the strongest and one of the simplest. And it basically just says that very similar things have to trade at very similar prices. For example, if you have a 1 pound gold bar and 16 1-ounce gold coins, they better trade at very similar prices. If they don't, you could melt down the coins and make the bar, or have the bar turned into coins. Now, admittedly, there'd be some costs there of minting the coins and so forth, but nonetheless, it's not big. So you'd expect the 16 coins and the 1 pound bar to trade at the same price. And when you check that, they do. Now, the law of one price plays a really important role in stock market investing. When people talk about things like, let's say, utility stocks trading at a multiple of 25 times earnings, what do they mean, and where did the 25 come from? Well, the way that works is they take a sample of big utility stocks like Consolidated Edison or Edison International, and they look at what the price earnings ratio is. And then, following the law of one price, they assume that other big utility companies should trade at similar multiples. In the case of those utilities, it's about 25. So when you're saying utilities trade at about 25 times earnings, you're really relying on the law of one price. Now, recently, there's been some crazy behavior in stocks such as GameStop and AMC. And that should lead you to say, well, do those violate the law of one price? In the case of GameStop, it's very hard to tell because there is no real comparable to GameStop. But in the case of AMC, we have a very good comparable, Cinemark. Like AMC, it's a theater company. They make their money from ticket sales and concessions. Their costs are the real estate and the films that they show. So they should trade at very similar prices. Do they? Well, let's take a look. Here's a graph that we've built plotting the AMC versus Cinemark stock price percent change from the first trading day of January 2018 up to the present. And you can see that the red line, which is Cinemark, and the blue line, which is AMC, move pretty much together most of the time, with the red being a little bit above the blue. We'll come to that in a minute. But recently, there's been two sharp deviations from the law of one price. Here in January of 2021, when there was a spike up in AMC, followed by a crash. And now currently, where it is spiked up to 314% up compared to Cinemark actually being down. And you have to look at this chart really carefully because that 314 up is the top. It's actually come down to where right now it's about 220% up. But that appears to be a violation of the law of one price. Why would suddenly AMC be worth so much more than Cinemark? Well, maybe it's done a lot better in earnings. Maybe one company's booming and the other company's failing. So let's look at the earnings. Here are the quarterly earnings on AMC and Cinemark during the same time period, from January of 2018 through the present. And you can see both of them turned negative when the COVID crisis hit. This particular huge drop in AMC was due to a debt restructuring. That's probably not relevant. But these lower numbers, between $5 and $8 per share losses, are significantly greater losses than Cinemark sustained. So on an earnings per share basis, there was no reason for this sudden spike in the price of AMC. Well, is there anything that does tie with that price? And there is. Here are a plot of the AMC stock price in blue and the Google Trends, which is really a measure of the number of searches related to AMC, in red. And you can see when the first spike occurred, it was matched by a spike in Google Trends, and in this current spike, it's been matched by a spike in Google Trends. So what seems to be happening is a violation of the law of one price based on a sudden enthusiasm for trading and attempting to profit from trading in AMC shares. But here's the warning. The law of one price always tends to reassert itself. And there's already evidence that this is happening in the case of AMC. People who own shares, like corporate insiders, are going to want to sell, and they are. The company is going to want to issue new shares if it can to get these record prices, and it is. Those will both tend to depress the price of AMC. It's also possible that people may start to buy Cinemark. But one way or another, we go back here to the prices. This type of gap is not sustainable. Either this red line's going to have to go up or this blue line's going to have to come down further. But whatever you think, knowing and understanding the law of one price will help you make wise investment decisions. This has been Reflections on Investing.